Next proponent.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and community members. My name is Mark Anderson, M-A-R-K-A-N-D-E-R-S-O-N, and I'm from Bridgeport, Nebraska, the owner of Anderson Harvesting LLC. I'm also a board member for the National Organization of U.S. Custom Harvesters. We are a national organization of custom harvesters. We're the ones that travel, or part of our membership travel from the south to the north, harvesting the wheat harvest. Our group is, there are about 80 members, 48 members of our organization based in Nebraska. This bill would directly impact them in a very negative way. I do like the fact where it excludes the temporary labor, because a lot of our group uses seasonal labor to, to fulfill the labor needs in harvest. Being from Western Nebraska, I want to thank Senator Stroman for introducing this cleanup bill. The original language, I feel, is very vague, leaves a lot of interpretation in there, and I feel it's very important for the legislature to write it into law to clean those things up, because leaving that up to the departments leads to lots of confusion and other things. Personally speaking, using the H-2A program with the Department of Labor on a national level is, the law itself is very vague, leaving lots of rulemaking from the department itself, causing all kinds of legal problems and battles. So I am, for this bill, because it does clean the language up. It exempts the smaller businesses, which a lot of small family farms, especially in our area, employ less than 10 people. This added employment cost really impacts them. And going back to my customer harvester hat, Nebraska has some of the highest labor rates already, and adding this extra cost is making us less competitive in the country to our other fellow custom harvesters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Senator Ibach.
Thank you, Chair. Do you just custom harvest in Nebraska?
I personally do, yes, but I have traveled to the state of Texas and harvested there.
And do they have similar laws that you know of down there, or?
I am unaware.
Okay.
But as a Nebraska business, I feel I would be forced to, I would have to follow Nebraska laws.
Would you take your own harvest crew with you?
Correct.
When you go out of
Yes.
state? Okay.
Yes.
So then you'd be stationed, or your home base would be Bridgeport.
Correct.
But you would travel out of state with the same crew?
Yes, that's correct. So my employees would travel with me to the other states, and I would, continue paying them the set rates for Nebraska. Even though the labor rates in Texas are lower, I'm not that kind of employer. I'm not going to cut people's wages because they're not going to come work for me. That's just a fact.
I'm assuming you have temporary or part-time labor as well?
Correct.
And is that just seasonal?
Yes, I have used the H-2A program in the past and hired 4 seasonal workers from May 1st until November 1st.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions? I have one.
Yes.
So when you talk about the labor rates are the highest in Nebraska, do you have any comparison, or are we
So
absolute top, or?
that's using the H-2A program. They follow what is called an AWAR rate, and then they also look at the specific job codes or SOC codes. And if the employee does like that, one of those jobs like trucking or heavy trucking, the current Nebraska wage rate is $30 an hour, and that employee must be paid $30 an hour. Also with the H-2A program, I'm required to provide food and housing and all of their expenses, so that makes my labor costs nearly $40 an hour.
Okay, thank you. Senator Ibach?
Thank you, Chair. I have one follow-up question. So when you're talking about housing, food, do you know what percentage of your labor costs those are?
I do not specifically, but I mean, it is a major part. I mean, I'm either buying hotels on the road or providing a house, a place to live rent-free in my hometown.
And then I'm assuming if you do work, even within the state or out of state, there's probably a bidding process where you have to bid your overall costs.
Correct. When I go to provide my services to my customers, I am, bidding against other custom harvesters, even including harvesters who are based out of Nebraska, who travel into Nebraska, who are able to, give my customers a lower price because their labor is potentially cheaper.
Yes.
This also increases costs for our farms and ranches across the state.
So this is actually it's relative to your last comment. This actually is going to drive up other contractual, or other contracts that other folks use as well. So if you're incorporating this into your contract, other businesses are going to have to incorporate the same increases into their contracts as well.
Correct. In my personal opinion, this is going to just add an increase across the board on Nebraska agriculture and make us less competitive in the nation.
Thank you. Thanks, Sharon.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next proponent.